Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're really diving deep into youth climate activism.
Yeah.
And specifically all the incredible work that young women around the globe are doing to combat
Definitely.
this global crisis.
It's so important.
And we've got a fascinating book to dig into called Climate Sisters, Resisting Ecocide.
It's an amazing book. It's like shining a spotlight on all these young leaders.
Right.
Many of them from the global south who are often kind of left out of the conversation.
Yeah, and the title Resisting Ecocide, I mean,
Powerful, right?
it doesn't get more powerful than that.
It really gets to the heart of what's at stake. This is about their survival.
Exactly. And the book starts with this dedication to the sisters striving for a better future for us all.
I love that.
Like reading that, you feel the weight of their mission.
You really do. And it kind of hints at this theme throughout the book, which is this isn't just about like saving the polar bears.
Yeah.
It's about justice. It's about equity.
Yeah. It's about like a better world for everyone.
Exactly.
So we're talking about young women, many of them from places, hit hardest by climate change, really stepping up into leadership roles.
And, a big reason for that is that their futures are on the line. Like, This isn't some abstract threat for them.
Right.
This is their daily reality.
And the book really drives that point home with some pretty, sobering stats from Berkeley Earth.
Yeah.
The planet has already warmed by, over 1 degree Celsius since pre-industrial times.
Crazy.
And 2023 just broke the record for the hottest year ever.
Yeah, if you look at the UN emissions gap report,
Yeah.
it's really clear that we are so far off track.
Yeah.
We need drastic emission reductions, and we need them now to avoid, a total catastrophe.
It's against this backdrop of urgency that we see the rise of, the youth climate movement, figures like Greta Thunberg and Fridays for Future, who've really captured the world's attention.
Greta's been incredible, but what I think is so cool about this book, Climate Sisters, is that it really zooms in on the unique perspectives and challenges of young women in this movement.
And the diversity of their approaches, too.
Yeah.
You've got Christina Kolo from Madagascar. She founded this organization called Green and Cool.
Amazing.
And she says, and I love this quote, she says, "We are not pitiful people asking for international aid. We are also resilient."
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all.
That says it all.
She embodies this idea of local action. Communities taking charge and creating solutions that actually fit their needs.
Yeah, and she's not just talking about it. She's building sustainable playgrounds.
Yeah.
She's making eco-friendly soap.
Oh.
She's addressing climate change while tackling these, immediate needs.
Exactly. And that's what's so important.
Yeah.
These solutions have to be driven by the community. They have to be homegrown, and they have to address the real challenges that these communities are facing.
Absolutely. And it's not just about those practical solutions either. She won this award, the Broad Activismo Medio Ambiental Award.
Wow.
Which specifically recognizes communities on the front lines of climate change.
Wow.
And then she dedicates the award.
Wow. To those communities, giving them an even bigger platform.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It disrupts that whole narrative of the global north coming in to save the day. And instead, it centers the agency and the strength of these communities. It's about amplifying their voices, not speaking for them.
Exactly.
Which is something that another climate sister, Bella Lack from the UK, is really passionate about.
Yeah.
She's an author and a campaigner, and she really understands that personal stories are so powerful for creating change.
Absolutely. And in her book, The Children of the Anthropocene, really gets at that.
It's a collection of stories about young people all over the world taking action and showing that even small actions can make a difference.
Right.
And one thing I find really interesting about Bella's work is this focus on the emotional side of the climate crisis. She talks about this concept of solastalgia, which is this feeling of grief and distress caused by environmental damage.
And it's not just this abstract concept, right?
It's actually different for everyone.
It manifests differently depending on where you live.
Exactly.
And what's at stake.
Someone in the UK might feel solastalgia over, the loss of a favorite park.
Right.
But for communities in the global south, it's often tied to the potential loss of their homes.
Right.
Their livelihoods.
Yeah.
Even their cultures.
It's a powerful reminder of just how unequal the impacts of this crisis really are.
It really is.
And it makes the work of activists like Dominika Lasota from Poland
Yes.
all the more urgent.
Dominika is amazing. She's like a leading voice in Fridays for Future Poland. And she's a huge advocate for a just transition.
And that's something that comes up a lot in these conversations.
It does.
Can you kind of unpack that for our listeners?
Yeah, so just transition is all about making sure that as we transition to a greener economy, we don't leave workers in like the fossil fuel industry behind. It's about making sure that transition is fair and equitable for everyone.
Which is so important because we can't be like, oh yeah, let's save the planet, but like people are out of jobs.
It's not, right? And Dominika connects this idea of a just transition to what's happening in Europe right now with the energy crisis. She argues that it shows us how dangerous it is to keep relying on fossil fuels.
Right, and she's not afraid to call people out?
No, she is not.
Or like the book mentions that she actually confronted the Polish president about their slow progress on climate action.
What did he say?
Well, he was pretty dismissive.
Oh, no.
He basically said something like, oh, I just want snow in the mountains.
Oh, my God.
Completely brushing aside the urgency.
That's so frustrating.
I know.
We're trying to talk to these people in power.
I know.
And they're just like...
It's unbelievable.
Not interested.
But she's not giving up. Like, she co-founded this initiative called Ecocide, which directly connects the energy crisis with the need to transition away from fossil fuels, like yesterday.
It just shows how savvy these activists are.
Yeah.
Connecting these different issues. Climate change, energy security, social justice.
All connected.
Exactly. And pushing for these big systemic changes.
And it reminds me of what Mikaela Loach, another climate sister from Scotland.
He's awesome.
Talks about.
Love her.
It's like, we need a multifaceted approach to climate action.
We need everyone.
Everyone.
All hands on deck.
We need all skills, all perspectives.
And Mikaela is like the definition of that.
Yes.
She's a medical student. She's got a podcast. She's an author. And she is not afraid to call out the fossil fuel industry.
She even took the UK government to court.
I know.
Over fossil fuel subsidies.
So brave.
It's amazing.
It takes guts to stand up to the government like that.
It really does.
And her book, It's Not That Radical, is so good.
Yeah.
She really challenges us to rethink what activism means. You know, she says there's so many ways to be part of this movement and that every single role is valuable.
And I think one of the things that really struck me about her work was this emphasis on the emotional labor of activism.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, like
it's real.
Activists aren't just like
it's exhausting.
Fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
They're also processing all this grief and anger
the feels
and despair. It's
heavy. It's heavy stuff.
And the fact that Mikaela is so open about that makes her message even more powerful.
Right.
She's not just telling us what to do.
Right.
She's creating space for us to actually feel all the things.
It's amazing, though, how all these activists we've talked about really emphasize that interconnectedness. You know,
it's so important. It's not just about climate change. It's about social justice and economic inequality.
Absolutely.
And even colonialism.
It's all connected. And that's what's so brilliant about another climate sister, Joycelyn Longdon from the UK. She's a PhD student, and she founded this organization called Climate in Color.
Okay.
And she's really trying to make climate information more accessible and inclusive, especially for marginalized communities who are often left out of these conversations.
It's about making sure everyone has a seat at the table, right?
Exactly. And what I think is so cool is that she's bringing AI into the mix.
AI. How does that work?
So Joycelyn is really interested in integrating indigenous knowledge systems into AI algorithms. She's like, look, traditional ecological knowledge has so much to offer. It holds centuries of wisdom about living in harmony with nature.
That's amazing.
It is. It's about moving beyond like Western-centric solutions and looking to these traditional knowledge systems for guidance.
Wow.
She even talks about the importance of decolonizing our thinking about climate solutions.
It's not just about saving the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's about recognizing those different ways of knowing and creating solutions that are both effective and just.
Exactly. We need to be listening to the communities who've been on the front lines of this crisis for generations.
It's been so inspiring diving into the stories of these climate sisters.
I know.
It's amazing to see these young women stepping up, challenging the status quo, fighting for a better future.
They give me so much hope.
Me too. And it's a good reminder that we can all do something. No matter how small.
Exactly.
These climate sisters are showing us what's possible.
They really
The
are.
way we come together and challenge the way things are.
It's about collective action.
Yes, and demanding a better future for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So go check out the book, Climate Sisters, Resisting Ecocide.
It's a must-read.
It's packed with inspiring stories and insights.
It'll definitely light a fire under you.
It will. You'll be ready to join the fight for a better future.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.